Hey, I'm Renny Harlin and welcome to my review for the Dyatlov Pass Incident. It is a found footage documentary movie, and boys, did this movie deliver big time. I've only just finished watching this movie and I have to do this review pretty much straight away because this movie was a general surprise, and the expectation level for this movie for me was quite low, and when it reached to a certain point it exploded. It is fantastic. I really enjoyed this movie a lot and I have to share my reasons why, of course. So let's talk about the Dyatlov Pass Incident. Why did you black out the sun? So this film was directed by the same guy who did Cliffhanger and Die Hard 2, Die Harder. Now think about that, folks. An action director is directing a found footage documentary movie. Have a think about that for just 1 second. So the storyline follows a bunch of American film students that are doing a documentary known as the Dyatlov Pass Incident, based upon actual true facts over 50 years ago when a bunch of Russian rock climbers went up to a very specific mountain over in Russia, and of course they died very mysteriously in terms of their death, and until this actual day in real life we do not know what actually happened, and it's kind of been an actual mystery for such a huge long time, and there's been different kind of theories and different kind of ideas. Some people say it's aliens, some people say it's Bigfoot or the Yeti monster or whatnot. And basically there's a huge amount of mystery surrounded by the actual incident itself, and of course these documentary filmmakers are doing an actual recreation of actually what happened, and they're doing of course research, and they're going to the actual place itself to determine what actually happened and to try and find some sort of closure to the actual families that happened over 50 years ago. Now the last hour of the movie I think personally is fucking awesome, but it goes in a very certain direction which I think some people may not like. Now this is a found footage documentary, and I think it plays it quite well, and it's a very good idea for, of course, a documentary. It's a very typical kind of like, you know, an incident happened or an activity or something paranormal, something along those lines kind of thing. Something very askew like this works very well with this type of genre. But the actual last hour, perfectly honest, I think personally was awesome, and I'm going to explain why in a minute. But some people that are watching it may not like the direction it went into, because they're probably expecting something else. But being the fact that this is based upon true story and an actual true fact, you know, some people might be really pissed off by this. So I hope this movie does not offend you in any way. So, based upon an actual true story, you know, the actual, it's basically the last hour is a little bit far-fetched in terms of, you know, the actual theorists they come up with. The actual movie, you know, touches upon the idea of, like, you know, different theorists and, like people say, you know, UFOs or whatnot. This movie goes in a very direction which it thinks that what actually happened, and perfectly honest, I think it was awesome. My expectations for this movie was quite low, in all fairness. I wasn't really that excited. I mean, the main interest for me was the fact that they had the director of Cliffhanger in this movie, and when I watched the movie just recently, just finished watching it, when I finished the movie, I was absolutely blown away, because I was not expecting the movie to go into such awesome depths. I mean, with movies like VHS 2 and the found footage genre recently booming, definitely with these really fantastic movies, and they're definitely doing more, bigger and better projects. Bigger directors are coming into it, bigger action horror directors, and I think this genre is definitely evolved since the Blair Witch Project age, and this movie was really, really well done, and I really, really enjoyed it. Now this is an hour-and-a-half movie. The first, I would say, 40 minutes, maybe 35, something along those lines, plays it in a very certain tone, and I think it does it quite well. It plays basically on, of course, the documentary. Of course, we find out who these characters are, we find out who these people are, and of course the film students, so we get to know them, character development and their personalities, what their interest for in this project is, and we get to see a couple of creepy, weird things going on as the incidents happen, of course, and we find, you know, them gathering information, and it's a very interesting 35 minutes in terms of just storytelling, and just we find enough information, we find enough character development to get to know these characters and to actually give a shit, in all fairness. And there's a certain, basically at one of that 35-40 minute peak, that's when the movie kicks into another gear, because you know something instantly then is not quite right, and there's a huge mystery surrounding a certain thing they discover. And the movie from then, the last hour of the movie, is just awesome. It's basically a roller coaster ride from there on. It just it adds a theory to basically what happened, and perfectly honest, if you know my taste in films, and especially some found footage movies, if you've seen previous reviews, I like movies that go a bit bold. I like movies that actually have a impact kind of thing. I don't like cheap scares. Paranoid TFT franchise, that's a perfect example of something that just bores me. I do not want to watch a movie for an hour and a half just to find out, just to have a moving sheet or something being thrown at the fucking camera. I want something to say, wow, that was good filmmaking, wow, that was good techniques, that was a fucking excellent concept. Some movies have done that and other movies haven't, some movies come close to doing that. I think this movie is like another brother of Evidence that everyone's seen that movie. It has a very similar kind of, you know, in terms of twist type wise, there's a certain kind of tone, then all of a sudden the last half of it is like, what the heck just happened, what the heck did I just see, kind of things. The movie a lot more worthwhile and definitely paid off big time. And if any of you out there are saying like, you know, it's film footage, whatever, it does a great job in giving you something to, you know, keep your eyes on, definitely, and my eyes were glued once we found out a certain twist within the actual movie. Definitely some interesting ideas, a very interesting concept, and they definitely had a good budget for this movie, of course. Now, I can't really say what the actual twist is, of course, for spoiler reasons, for people that actually haven't seen the movie yet, but trust me, it's awesome. You're going to enjoy the twist. Hopefully, a good portion of you will enjoy the actual twist, and hopefully you will like it and agree upon me that this movie is awesome. I looked on IMDb and actually got a 5.3, which is extremely low, which I don't know if it's just me or not. My expectations were quite low. It's probably why I actually thought it was quite good, or maybe I didn't find out the twist, maybe someone did. But the actual rating for that is extremely low. I don't think it's actually found its audience yet, in all fairness, and I think this movie deserves a lot more credit than it was given recently. And I really hope people that watch this movie agree upon me and actually say, yes, that was a great movie, really enjoyed. I really liked the actual concept, and really liked the twist that happened in the movie. I really want to say what it is because it's just awesome. I'm going to leave no spoilers, of course. Just go and watch the movie. I recommend you go and check it out. It is absolutely fantastic. The acting I thought was average. You know, it wasn't exactly, you know, amazing or skyrocket kind of thing. We find out, of course, within the first, you know, 35 to 40 minutes, you know, lots of character development, and we find out who these people are, of course. And I think the acting was pretty decent in the sense of, you know, I actually care about these people. But the main majority of the cast I thought was actually genuinely quite good, and they actually weren't douches or anything. Most kind of documentary crew, like, you know, they're all kind of like saying, they're all like, yeah, it's a good party, let's get pissed and crap. They're actually quite professional. They're like the film students, but they're all at the same time, they want to do something, they want to achieve something, they joke about each other, and there's a nice kind of friendly atmosphere between the actual cast, which is really well done. So I would definitely recommend the Dyatlov Pass Incident. It is a really well done found footage documentary movie with a fantastic twist. The movie definitely pays off. It has some really worthwhile scenes, some very interesting concepts, and it actually stays true, I think, to the actual what happened back over 50 years ago, and it actually does do some accurate research from what I've seen of the actual movie itself. It actually did some proper good research, and the actual theory, so the actual last hour of the movie is basically one idea, one concept of what they thought, what their interpretation of it was. I like the actual movie that itself, it actually has the idea of a conspiracy and aliens or, you know, UFOs kind of thing, but it actually plays upon all of them and actually gives you an answer which they think is suffice, and I think it's perfectly fucking awesome. I really enjoyed this movie. Definitely better than I was expecting. Definitely want to check it out. It's one of the better found footage movies out there. Please go and check it out. Please go and support. So that's been my review for the Dyatlov Pass Incident. I hope you enjoyed watching this review. Have you seen the movie? What did you think? Do you think it was good? Do you think it was bad? What were your expectations? What's your opinions? So what did you think? It's like that.